Ritvika, you're on mute.
Sorry, Mona. Good morning and a warm welcome to one and all present here. I deem it a great privilege to welcome our beloved Principal Dr. Charles Lasrado SJ, Registrar Dr. Augustine Amaldas, Vice Principal Ms. Sneha Rai, and Dr. Raja Deba Singh, Head of the Department Dr. Komal Dave, Teaching Faculty Dr. Soni Matthews, and all my dear friends. I thank Almighty for giving me an opportunity to welcome you all to the event on forgiveness organized by Chaya, Emima Preeti, Keaton Franklin, Paksam Kadro, Ritvika Hiremat, Sakshi Kumari, Satya Kumari, Srijit Jeno, Vaishnavi Singh, and Zaira Salim of First MCOM. At the end of the event, we as a team want each one of you to enjoy throughout the event and hope to get some great learning from the event. Thank you. Now, to begin the event, I request Emima Preeti to start with the prayer.
Let us look up to the Almighty in prayer. Father, we praise you for this event and your purpose for it. That even when we have done what we have asked, the results are so much greater than we ever could have imagined. Our prayer is that your will be done through this event. Take what we have prepared and multiply our efforts as only you can. Steer our intentions to align with your righteous will. Blanket us with your peace today. Father, keep love at the forefront of our minds and the guiding light for all we set out to accomplish and celebrate. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Emima. Quoted by Mahatma Gandhi, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. So, to begin with the event, I call Satya Kumari for the introduction about the topic.
Good morning, all. As we begin our event on forgiveness, we must know what forgiveness is. So, the first question is, what is forgiveness? Forgiveness can be defined as an individual, voluntary, internal process of letting go of feelings and thoughts of resentment, bitterness, anger, and the need for vengeance and retribution towards someone who we believe has wronged us, including ourselves. It's actually a conscious and deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment, regardless of whether someone actually deserves our forgiveness or not. Forgiveness can be for any one person, a group, for our own self who has harmed us, for our own regrets that we might be harboring for all the bad decisions that we might have made at some point in life. Forgiveness makes it very clear that when we forgive, we do not gloss over or deny the seriousness of any mistake against us. It does not mean that we are forgetting or excusing the mistake either, but rather it does help repair a damaged relationship. It doesn't obligate us to reconcile with the person who has harmed us or release them from the legal accountability. Instead, forgiveness brings the forgiver peace of mind and frees him or her from corrosive anger. It empowers us to recognize the pain that we have suffered through without letting that pain define us, enabling us to heal and move on with our life. Thank you.
Thank you, Satya, for giving us a wonderful brief introduction about the topic. To continue with, I call upon Chaya to explain us the 7 steps of true forgiveness.
Good morning, everyone. Satya just introduced what forgiveness actually is, and we all know that forgiveness is actually a process. So that begs the question of what is the process of forgiveness? There are various approaches to understanding this process, and making sense of it is unique to your situation and context. So the first step that is to acknowledge the hurt. Who hurt you, why did they do it, and what is the context of the situation, and how long ago did this happen. And the second step is to consider how the hurt and pain has affected you. The word consider is key here because it involves thinking before making a decision. Before you decide on whether or not you will forgive this person, consider the negative feelings that you've acquired since the incident. That is, how has the pain changed you? How detrimental was the person's mistake in your life or in someone else's? And the third step is to accept. Accept that you cannot change the past. No matter how much you wish this pain could be reversed, it's time to admit to yourself that your anger towards this person won't redeem what they have done to you. So it is during this step that you must thoughtfully consider whether or not you want to forgive. And the fourth step is to determine whether or not you will forgive. This is when the forgiveness process actually either begins or ends. This decision should not be made lightly as it will determine the future of this relationship with that particular person. And the fifth step is to repair. Repair the relationship with the person who have wronged you. Before an act of forgiveness or reconciliation, rebuild the connection you used to have with this person. You used to have with that particular person. So in most cases, you have to note that you're repairing the relationship and not restoring it. It will likely take more time for the relationship to return to normal. So acts of repairing can include kind words, simple gestures, or even gifts for that matter. And the sixth step is that learn what forgiveness means to you. Up until now, you probably thought that forgiveness is more for their benefit and not yours. But once the relationship is on the path of restoration, you've given yourself enough time to accept the reality of the past. And it's clear that forgiveness is a way for you to find closure. And that closure, that means something. And the fifth and the seventh and the final step is to forgive. Forgive the person who have wronged you. In some cases, this will be silent. You may be compelled to verbally forgive the person, even if you do not expect a kind response. But if you have followed through on the previous steps, then their reaction won't really matter to you. What will matter is that you have found a way to let go and then move on. Thank you.
Ritvika, you're on mute.
Thank you, Chaya, for wonderfully explaining us about the seven steps of forgiveness. Now heading to something where in all of the team members were physically at different cities but tried to virtually get connected and put up small skits in the upcoming slides. So I request Sakshi and Keaton to explain us the types of forgiveness.
Forgiveness actually implies four different, each of which implies two distinct situations and produces diverse results. The four types of forgiveness are: first one is exoneration, second one is forbearance, and the third one is release, and the last and fourth one is pure. Now we are presenting a small skit on exoneration. hope you all enjoy the video. Now, the first type is exoneration. Exoneration is what we generally have in mind when we think of the word forgiveness. Exoneration essentially means the slate is completely wiped clean and the relationship is fully restored to its previous sense of innocence. There are three types of situations which the exoneration is appropriate. Now, the first one is the hurtful situation was a complete accident for which no fault or blame can be applied. Now, the second type of exoneration is person who committed the offense is a child or someone who was not capable of understanding the implications of their action. In these situations, the person wronged also holds positive or loving feelings towards the offender. The third and the last step of exonerations are the person who hurt you is very sorry and takes full responsibility for his or her actions. They don't make excuse. They ask for forgiveness and they also provide you with the necessary confidence that the bad actions will not repeat it in the future. As you people have seen in the skit also, there is an accidental mistake where due to the mistake of neighbor kid, her laptop has crashed and the kids make apology for that and she fumes in anger for the loss, but eventually understands that it was an accidental mistake. Exonerations means forgive and forgot. As the old saying goes, when exonerate someone, it is as if harmful actions never took place at all. Now we are presenting a next small skit on forbearance. Slide repeat. Hope you all enjoy the skits on forbearance. So I will talk about the second type of forgiveness, that is forbearance. A second level of forgiveness applies when an offender either makes a partial apology or lessen their apology by suggesting that you are also partially to blame to their wrongdoing. Forbearance comes into play when the relationship at hand is one that matters to you. If the person is someone who is important in your life, you should exercise forbearance even if you bear no responsibility for what happened. As you people have seen in the skit also, two friends were talking about after a long time because of someone misunderstanding. They were fall apart, and they were busy in their own life. Finally, they decided to reconcile and making fresh memories from them. And so here there is a mutual forgiveness with no grudges. This is similar to forgive but don't forget, or trust but verify. With the forbearance, you are able to continue the relationship with people who are important to you. Thank you. Next, two types will be explained by Keaton.
Good morning, everyone. So to start off with the release type of forgiveness, we have a small video which will be showing you now. Yeah, let's go to the next slide. So yes, in the release type of forgiveness, it's a forgiveness where you forgive another person even when they do not ask for your forgiveness or even care that you forgive them or not. It's the lowest or the first form of forgiveness where no matter what happens, you do forgive and you move on with your life. No matter what the other person might do, it is all in your hands and release. It is where you forgive the other person and you can move on and have a peaceful life later. And the second type of forgiveness, which I'll be explaining, is pure forgiveness, for which we have a little skit that we prepared. Yeah, go to the next slide. So yes, pure forgiveness is in I would consider forgiveness as the highest form of forgiveness, where you would not hold a grudge over anything that has happened, and you would move on, knowing that even though the person has made a mistake, you can still go on with your life. Both of you can still go on with your life, having nothing changed. This normally happens in families, like we've seen in the video where the father forgives the son, even though the son screams at the father and complains about whatever complains about why he has to be the one paying all the bills in the house. So yes, pure forgiveness is a type of forgiveness where normally seen in families with children and children and their parents, but it can also be seen in some friends groups who have formed very tight bonds with each other, where no matter what a person might do in that group, they do forgive each other and move on, and they still stay very close. Thank you.
Thank you, Sakshi and Keaton, for beautifully explaining the types of forgiveness, and hope the audience enjoyed our small skits. Now, I would like to call Vaishnavi to explain the benefits we get from forgiveness.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ma'am. Till now, we have learned about forgiveness, of forgiveness, and type of forgiveness. But why to forgive? What are the benefits of forgiveness? It's hard to imagine that there are benefits of forgiveness when we feel hurt and angry. Forgiveness becomes more difficult for when there is no apology or even admission of guilt. The difficulty in forgiveness can often be a view of forgiveness as a gift to offender. However, it's actually a gift to ourselves. We choose to forgive, we reap the benefit of forgiveness. As in the above video, we have seen conflict between two friends, siblings, being resolved due to forgiveness. It's like making their relationship better and healthier. It's hard to have a good healthy relationship with you are holding grudge and walking around with bitterness in your heart. When you forgive others, it helps you to love and better, especially those who close to you. That's huge benefit of forgiveness. Forgiveness not only just to give you inner peace but also helps to reduce many health issues like anxiety, depression, stress. First, consider not the cost of not forgiving. Not forgiving someone is often lead to hostility toward that person, and your anger and bitterness can seep into other part of your life. Hostility level of hormones cholesterol elevated in your body, which can trigger a whole range of your outcome, including blood pressure, immune system, and tendency to gain weight. Holding on to hostility also psychological consequences. It keep you feeling of like a victim, prevent you from moving past trauma, and lead you anxiety and depression. There are strong research demonstrating that engaging in forgiveness reduces cortisol circulating in your body, leading to many benefits, including low blood pressure, cholesterol, and heart attack risk, and better sleep. Forgiveness also helps you to regulate your stress response and reduce your overall level of anxiety. Almost everyone needs to forgive him or herself as well as others. Anxiety often arises when we fear that we have done something wrong. Our guilty consequences cause anxiety to deep level. Forgiveness helps us to love ourselves deeply, relieve us of inner pain. Forgiveness isn't complicated, but it is difficult. When we express deep hurt, I encourage you to choose forgiveness. Remember that God commands us to forgive, and He only commands best for His people. Benefit for forgiveness including blessing, freedom, and better relationship. Forgiveness improves physical and mental health. It also starts us on the road of healing and living in a present. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaishnavi, for letting us know the benefits of forgiveness. Now, to move on, I would call Zaira for explaining the effects of holding grudge and seeking forgiveness for our own mistake.
Good morning, everyone. So, I would like to take you through the effects of holding grudge or effects of unforgiveness. It is very easy to hold a grudge, particularly if you were hurt by someone you love and trust. But have you ever thought of the emotional toll it has on you? The following are the effects of holding a grudge. It can fill your life with bitterness and anger. You'll be very angry with the person and yourself. It won't let you to enjoy the present, since you will be caught up in the past and will be resentful towards any new experiences. It will make you depressed or anxious. As you are holding on to the grudge, it will make you anxious on every step of your life. You will be afraid that you could be hurt again and will be depressed in your life. It will make you feel like you have no goal or purpose in your life and you might lose touch with your spiritual beliefs. It will make you feel like you have lost connection with others and that you have valued the most. Besides the emotional toll, researchers have found that holding a grudge can heighten feeling of pain as physical pain as well. Letting go of grudge starts with forgiveness. That doesn't mean you are excusing the behavior of the other person exhibited. If you can forgive the person for their mistake, you can break free of the hold he or she has had in your life. Now let us discuss about how to seek forgiveness for your own mistakes. We all are human beings. We all make mistakes. Accepting it and asking forgiveness is the humblest thing to do. The first step to do so is by analyzing what you have done wrong and how it made the other feel. Imagine what might have you felt if the same thing happened to you. But remember that you should not judge yourself too harshly for your mistakes. If you feel really bad about the thing, admit it to the other person. Sincerely apologize for the same and try not to make any excuses for your behavior. Let the other person know that you feel really bad for what happened. And finally, the most important thing is you can't force others to forgive you. You have to give time for them to move on. Even if they don't forgive you, treat them with compassion, empathy, and respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Zaira, for beautifully explaining the effects and seeking forgiveness. Now, I would request Emima to explain us the most important reach model of forgiveness.
Good morning, everyone. Shall we talk about reaching for a solution on forgiveness? With all the turmoil in the world, it is hard to imagine people learning to forgive. But a professor at Virginia Commonwealth University has come up with a method that works. At 67, Everett Worthington has spent more than 30 years studying forgiveness. The VCS psychologist has written a dozen books on the subject, lectured widely, and practiced what he had preached. One of his best methods to practice forgiveness is the REACH model. REACH stands for recall, empathize, altruistic, commit, and hold. Here's a look at each step. Recall. The first step is to recall the wrongdoings in an objective way. The goal is not to think of the person in a negative light nor to wallow in self-pity, but to come to a clear understanding of the wrong that was done. Visualize the person and situation and all the feelings that comes with it. Don't push aside anything, especially if it makes you feel angry or upset. Empathize. Next, try to understand the person's point of view regarding why he or she hurt you, but without minimizing or downplaying the wrong that was done. Sometimes the wrongdoings was not personal, but due to something the other person was dealing with. People who attack others are sometimes themselves in a state of fear, worry, and hurt, says Dr. Vanderweel. They often don't think when they hurt others and they just lash out. Altruistic gift. This step is about addressing your own shortcomings. Recall a time when you treated someone harshly and were forgiven. How did it make you feel? Recognizing this helps you realize that forgiveness is an altruistic gift you can give to others. Commit. Commit yourself to forgive. For instance, write about your forgiveness in a journal or a letter that you will not send or tell a friend. This helps with decisional side of forgiveness, says Dr. Vanderweel. Hold. Finally, hold on to your forgiveness. This step is tough because memories of the event will often recur. Forgiveness is not erasure, says Dr. Vanderweel. Rather, it's about changing your reaction to those memories. To conclude this REACH model, I would like to state that when the bad feelings arises, remind yourself that you have forgiven and ultimately want good for the offender. If needed, revisit your commitment by reading your journal entries or letters, or recalling the shared conversation with a friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma, for beautifully explaining the reach model. Now to move ahead, quoted by Lewis Smith, to forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that the prisoner was you. Now coming to one of the interesting part of our event, wherein I call our team member Chaya to share her story on how the unforgiveness affected her in life.
Hi everyone once again. So I would like to tell you an incident on how the other person wouldn't forgive me for some reason and how it impacted me for more than 1 or 2 months. So starting, I just started my fifth grade. So it all went well. I had a teacher who was really good. I used to love her classes. Like she used to handle at least like two subjects. So I used to have like 2 or 3 classes per day where she was teaching. And yeah, the fifth grade went all good. Like every day was like a routine. Like I would go talk to her after all the classes. Like I had connected well through her. After, you know, after the classes, I would make sure that I would tell her about my day, how interesting it was. We had connected well. So even though she was strict in class, outside classroom, she was so friendly and nice to me. But after the fifth grade summer holidays, she had given us homework. Like she knew she only would take the same subject even in the sixth grade. So she had given us like copywriting books to write. So we had to write every day 1 or 2 pages, which I don't remember. But obviously, I didn't complete my homework. So when I started my sixth grade, she asked us to submit all the copywriting books that we had. So I hadn't done my homework, and I had to submit it within a week. And obviously, I couldn't complete the 2 to 3 months homework in just a week. So what I did was I asked my friend to write on the right side, so I would be writing on the left side. So we would both sit together. She used to write on the other side of the page, and I used to write on this side of the page. So that's how I completed my homework and I submitted it. But some of the other students had also done the same thing, and she identified everyone who had different handwritings on their books. So I was also one of them, and obviously she punished every one of us. And after that incident, she wouldn't even talk to me. No matter how much I apologized to her after realizing my mistake, she wouldn't just talk to me at all. So every time I would have to go back to school in the morning, I used to feel so guilty that, oh my God, I've done such a huge mistake. She's not even forgiving me. And all that, as a kid. I was purely paranoid about it. So after a while, I just came to a consensus that no, she's not going to forgive me. I have to just move on. So I just want to tell you that how this little thing impacted me for more than 2 months as a sixth grade kid. So I just want you to keep in mind that it's giving forgiveness is not only about yourself, it is also about the other person's mistake, where the other person will realize and will want to get over it and move on without feeling that guilt or shame her entire time. That's all. Thank you. Now that I've shared my story, I want you all to also share so that you'll have that comfortable feeling to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Chaya, for sharing your amazing story. Now, I request our lovely audience to please unmute and share your stories on forgiveness, as we believe many of us will be having the element of forgiveness. So, please.
Come on, guys, anyone. I share such a sad story of my life to make you people comfortable. Please come up now. Anyone, please. It'd be nice to hear you.
Okay, shall I tell something?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. I'm Dhanalakshmi from one MIB. This is not a story, but a short incident. Um, Myself and my friend got uh, a fight between ourselves, and we were not in touch for mm, more than a week or something like that. And actually, it was her mistake, but she never realized that she should ask sorry or something. She should forgive and speak like that. So uh, after many days, I was like, why shouldn't even talk to me? Or anyway, it wasn't my mistake for not doing that. And later, I myself went to her and asked her sorry. Anyways, it was not my fault, but even though that feeling which I had when she didn't talk to me, uh, that was eating my mind. So later we forgot that incident and we usually talk. That gave a mental peace in mind. So it was good.
Thank you, Dhanalakshmi, for sharing your story. Next, I request Sumant. Sumant has raised his hand, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I guess there is some problem. If anybody else want to share, please go ahead. Yes, Teresita, please.
Yeah, hi everybody. Yeah, this is about one of my friend. She was my schoolmate, and after about 23 years, we all got in touch because of the WhatsApp group one of our classmate formed. We all studied together up to 7th standard, and so for the first meeting, we planned to meet up in the school, and very few could make it up to the school program where we went met the teachers and all those things. After a few weeks, one of her friend who couldn't attend the meeting, she called up and she's like, "Hey, hi, how are you?" and all. So I was really happy that she called up and we were talking and everything was going on fine. She used to tell about her kids, like how good they are in their studies. She used to send their report cards and she used to feel so happy. She used to tell, Teresita, you know about me now. I was not that very good in studies, but I'm so happy God has given me such wonderful kids. They are all, getting good marks and all those things. So this went on. Still now we had not met actually. We were only conversing over the phone. And suddenly, and there was housewarming ceremony. I invited her. I was expecting that she will 100% drop in. But then she didn't turn up. The next day I called up to her and I'm like, I'm really angry on you. She's like, why? What happened? And I'm like, you were supposed to attend the housewarming ceremony. You said you will turn up with your family and you didn't come. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot about that. Like, my daughter was not well, so I was running around to the hospital. And I was like, okay, fine. Then it's okay. Again, after a week's time, she calls up and she begins to cry, telling her daughter was diagnosed with cancer and that is the reason all these days she was all held up and she couldn't even come to attend the housewarming. And I really felt bad about that because her daughter's age and my daughter's age are same. And she cried and she's like, I urgently need 50,000 rupees. And that was the time when we were building our house and we had shortage of fund. We had to gather small amounts and complete the work. So there was exactly this 50,000 rupees at home which we had kept to pay the carpenters. And when she told about the kid, I just couldn't stop myself. I asked my husband and he also said, see, this is a situation, we have to go forward and help. I don't even know whether your friend is good or bad. but since it's about a child, it's okay, you go and give. I took a auto, went, and I gave them amount to her. And she literally fell on my feet, and she's like, you're like my God. None of my husband's friend helped me. And all these hangamas went on. And she took the money, everything was going on fine. After some day, and she promised, and I told her, see, this is something that it's not an excess that we are giving you. Whenever possible, you repay. She said, within a month, I'm going to repay. She even came to offer, checks also. I said, no, it's fine. I trust you. After 1 month, you give. But it's almost 4 years now. Not she didn't think of repaying. And when I started calling up to ask her if she could give it, the corona thing came, and we also had some financial difficulty. If she could pay, her entire attitude started becoming different. And that is when slowly I realized, not just with me, but with other friends in the group also, she had taken money telling the same issues, and she has not repaid anybody. At this moment, I really felt so bad. You trust somebody and give it to them, and at the end of the day, they don't repay you, and you actually stop trusting others as well. Even if somebody has some genuine requirement, there is a question mark whether these people are genuine or not. And because of this, I was not ready to trust anybody. Even now, when it comes to money matter, I really, put a step back and say, I'm sorry, I don't think I will be able to help you. So when such situation comes, I realized, and the way she spoke hurt me really bad, telling, I am not going to take that 50,000 and live a luxurious life. This is exactly what she told. And this hurt was there for a long time in me. But then I decided what I did was right from my side. Whatever she has done, she is going to repay for it. So holding a grudge is not going to, be good for me. It is only going to hurt me. Whereas she is going to, she just doesn't mind what she has done. So letting go of a certain hurt is always better. So this
Thank
is
you. Thank you,
one.
Teresita,
Yeah.
for sharing your beautiful story. Now to continue, I call Srijit for explaining the self-forgiveness.
Am I audible?
Yes, you
Am
are.
I okay? So I'll be talking about self-forgiveness, and forgiving yourself is about more than just putting the past behind you and moving on. It is about accepting what has happened and showing compassion to yourself for facing what you have done or what has happened in the first step towards self-forgiveness. So I'm gonna be sharing some tips and strategies for self-forgiveness which you can use in your day-to-day lives. So first thing is think back. Think back to a time in your life when you felt safe and cared about someone. Remember who that is. It could be a friend, relative, teacher, mentor, spiritual figure, or a pet. Visualize the feeling of being around them and being protected. Let yourself feel safe. Then, together with your protector, list all your positive qualities. Next thing is remember the event. Acknowledge the facts surrounding what you need to forgive yourself for. Remember back to the specific event and how it made you feel. Notice what is hard to face and make a list of what happened and sort it all into three different categories: moral faults, unskillfulness, and everything else. Moral faults call for guilt or remorse, and unskillfulness requires correction, like committing to never doing a certain act again. Third step is don't avoid guilt. Not feeling great about doing something bad is healthy and natural. If we wipe away the bad feelings of doing bad, what are we left with? However, there is a difference between shame and guilt. Shame comes with defensive feelings like denial, avoidance, and violence. And it is not helpful to tell yourself that you are a bad person at your core and feel guilty. By doing so, you may not think that you can change. Feeling guilt over your actions, however, can help you not to repeat them. Next, take responsibility. You cannot forgive yourself if you don't own up to what you did. both to yourself and to the person you have wronged. Let them know that you take accountability for what you did, and let yourself know this too. Next step is try to repair the damage. It may be hard for you to truly forgive yourself if you feel you haven't done what you need to do to make amends. Perhaps this means offering financial aid, repairing the property, or simply saying sorry to someone. And the last point is have empathy for more than yourself. It has been found that people have trouble with self-forgiveness when they also have empathy with other party involved. It's normal for people to struggle with this tension. However, without having empathy for both yourself and the other person, this self-forgiveness can be empty and not mean much. I mean, these tips are difficult to incorporate in real life, but so is having true self-forgiveness. It will most likely be a long journey that will have valleys and peaks, and you may never really fully release the negative feelings you have. So, self forgiveness doesn't need to be a self indulgent thing, but rather a clear appraisal of your capacity for doing bad or good. Thank you. And I request
Thank you.
Ratrika to continue the event.
Thank you, Srijit, for beautifully explaining the self-forgiveness. Now we would love to present you a video wherein our team members have come up with some positive affirmations on self-forgiveness to fill you all with some positivity.
Ritvika, you're muted.
Guys, please don't leave the meeting. We have still yet to show. Now I request Father Bala sir to share his opinion about forgiveness.
Hi, good afternoon to you all. I did not expect this.
Father,
Very
we are
nice.
blessed. We are actually blessed that you are part of us.
No, I enjoy this topic. I like this topic actually. That's the reason I wanted to be part of this, ma'am. Thank you for sharing this link with me, first of all.
Thank you.
Yeah. So actually, a few years back, I was invited for a prayer session, so I went there. So since we have taken a reading from the Bible, and so that's about Jesus is telling to his disciples who asked him how many times should we forgive, and he said 70 times 7. So which means you should be able to forgive people innumerably, come what may the condition. So we started a small discussion, and I said, why is it so difficult for us to forgive the other? So people started giving different opinions, and there was this young boy, I think less than 8 years old, this young boy who lifted up his hand and said, I would like to give my opinion. Then I asked him, yeah, go ahead, tell me. I was very interested to know. And the answer that he gave me was, oh, we are not able to forgive others because our hearts are very small, and we need to increase the size of our hearts. Our hearts should be a little broader. Only then we will be able to forgive the other. Everybody started laughing. But then I started telling to people, I think God just spoke to all of us through this boy. Our hearts are very small. That's the reason we are unable to forgive. I really liked the presentation. I had to join. I was having a rapport building session, so I had to join a little bit late. So, but I was able to follow the topics that you have been trying to say. Another experience, the best example of forgiveness. Do I have time, ma'am?
Yes, Father. Yes, Father.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know if you have heard a person called Sister Rani Maria. She is recently has been beatified as a blessed. I have had the chance of working in the same parish where she was killed, brutally killed for the social work that she has been doing. More than 51 times she was pierced with a knife and she was brutally killed. And a few years back, she was beatified, and I had the privilege to conduct the choir and to produce album for this great blessed sister. So what happened was, this man who killed her was kept into the jail, and this sister's younger sister is also a nun in the same congregation. So on a Rakhi day, these sisters makes a decision to go and visit this man who brutally killed her, and makes a decision to meet him and to go there and to tell him that I forgive you. And it's not only this sister, the mother of this sister who was brutally killed and the brother, sister, all of them went and they said, we forgive you. And they have received him into their family and they have filed the case, in the sense not case, they withdrew the case from him and brought him back from the jail. And he who has brutally killed her and who has pierced his knife 51 times now works as a volunteer at the tomb of this great saint in Madhya Pradesh. Actually, when she was being beatified, although I had a great privilege of conducting the choir and in front of the world, and I was part of these songs and so on, what interested me the most was, what satisfied me the most was although I did not know Malayalam, the interaction that I had with this family of this sister. I spent a little time and started talking to them, and this man who killed her was also sitting with them. I see a lot of peace in all of them, including the person who is being forgiven. And that touched me the most. Now, I call this as a true forgiveness. See, letting go is also not forgiveness. how long can you let it go? If what happens if this similar experience happens to you often, right? So it's more than, and I would like to conclude that forgiving somebody is much more important to you as self than the person who is being forgiven, because it makes a lots of difference in your lives. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you.
Ritvika, unmute and talk.
Ritvika, you're on mute again.
Thank you, Father, for letting us know your experience and sharing your opinion on forgiveness. That really we felt good. So now coming to the end, I would like to call Paksim for the vote of thanks.
I quote, "True forgiveness is when you can say thank you for that experience." I unquote by Oprah Winfrey. And lastly, we would like to thank our Father Principal, Dr. Charles Lasrado S.J., Registrar Dr. Augustine Amaldas, Vice Principals Ms. Neha Rai and Dr. Raja Jabar Singh, HOD Dr. Komal, Gladden Sir, Father Bala Sir, and all other faculties and friends for being with us throughout the session and making it interactive. We also like to thank Dr. Sony Matthews for giving us this wonderful opportunity to remind us and others about the importance of the forgiveness in today's world. Thank you once again and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Paksim, for the vote of thanks. I request everybody to stay. We just have a small video to present you from our side on forgiveness. Please enjoy, and thank you everyone for joining and supporting us throughout the event. So please enjoy the song. Thank you everyone, all the faculty members and all my dear friends for actively participating throughout the event and supporting us and making this event a successful one. And I thank all my team members also for supporting and coordinating till date. Thank you. And yes, a special credit to Jeno for editing the videos beautifully. Thank you.
Thank you so much.